There you go. Oh, you're so excited. Oh, sweet guy. Here, I'll let you hold on to him while I finish setting everything up. Oh, good boy. Pulling back on your end at all, it's gonna just be using the leash to create a boundary, because a lot of people are very used to pulling the dog to where they want to go. I want you to try to keep your arm as relaxed as possible and have the fact that the leash is just getting loose and tight on its own because of where you and him are in relation to the leash, that how to help. Also, what I mean outside of that is like you'll naturally end up pulling him when you're walking to show him where you need to go. So that's why I don't want you to do extra arm movements on top of that too. So it's just, I'll do the first round here. So right here, it's going to be tight because he's going the wrong way, because I want to try to get in between these two cones. I'm just going to slowly start to walk through, and that pressure is going to build on its own. Yes, good boy. This way. See, that's what I mean by leash pressure, because we want him to respond. I know you're going to want mom. We're going to want him to respond with as little leash pressure as possible at first, and then actually understand what that leash pressure means, as opposed to just continuously driving forward towards what he thinks. So now I want us to go through this one, so I'm going to slowly walk and then release. Good boy. When he starts going the right way, starts going the wrong way. Yes, good boy. Right? Yes, good boy. And then I release again. Yeah. It's gonna definitely be a little bit easier when you do it, because he's so focused on you now, which is perfect. That way when distractions like that happen, you just hold, because he's going the wrong way. I want to try to go this way. Yes, good boy. And then when he starts going the right way, you release pressure. So at no point are you pulling him back. You're just holding so he doesn't keep going the wrong way, and you're just guiding. This way, bud. See what I mean? And then that leash becomes loose again when he starts following you. It's tight when he goes the wrong way or isn't focused on where you're going. It's loose when he starts going the right way and he's doing the right thing. It's very simple basics, but sometimes people and pups need a lot of practice with it. He's just super distracted with you. So that's, like I said, it should be a lot easier for you.
Why are you distracted with Mom here?
He just wants to hang out with mom, I think. How you doing? There you go. Very good. There you go. Good job. And you can reward him whenever he redirects and follows you too. And that's when it's okay to speak. You can, as soon as he turns and pays attention, you can give him that good boy, and then you can give him the treats. There you go. Good. Both doing great. Go. Good. So now when it's loose, go ahead and guide him. Yeah, there you go.
So this, we do fairly well on a walk.
Yeah, he does okay. Like the main thing that when it falls apart is when he's at the market square or when he gets excited like that with the new thing. So that's why it's really important that you don't get distracted and you continue on with this, right? So right there, you already reverted back to doing a verbal cue instead of just using the leash. So let's go ahead and run through the exercise a couple more times. Then we'll do a real world exercise on the sidewalk, and then we might go over to the market square. Right? It's loose. You can, yeah. Right? So now it's tight. There you go. Good. Good. There you go. Good. And that's what I mean right there. As soon as he felt that pressure, he turned and recognized it. Now he had that kind of lingering force. Is it loose? Is it tight? And also don't forget that you can just keep going to help guide him, right? There you go. You don't have to do any extra pulling on your arm. You can just keep walking. And that'll help to naturally increase that pressure. We're very much so just used to jaggedly pulling whenever we need it, instead of just focusing on continuing to where we want to go and what we want to do. Right? There you go. Keep your arm nice and loose. Just keep walking. Perfect. There you go. So that way, it's really easy because the leash will automatically get loose again when he pays attention and gets close to you to catch up. And you don't have to do all that extra work with your arm. You just have to pay attention to him. Very good. Perfect. Good. Now the next exercise is a start and stop. The next exercise is a start and stop. So when you go in between the two cones, just stop and let the leash direct him, or hopefully he'll notice that you stopped on your own, and then he'll just stop and pay attention to you, and then you give him a treat or reward.
So stop, and he stops because I stopped.
Yep. And he's just stopping because he's paying attention to you. And then once he does that and he's paying attention, then go ahead and start again. And you just want to start and stop, go through each one, and start. Perfect. There you go. Perfect. There you go. And this helps
to... Does he have to sit or just stop and look?
Just stop. If you want him to sit, you can ask him to sit. But the main point of the exercise is for him to pay attention when you're moving and when you're not moving. So right now you can kind of clearly see, there you go. He got distracted. He noticed that you stopped. You stopped. That's all. Okay, now try the same exercise but on the sidewalk. So just keep walking straight along the sidewalk, whichever direction that you want, and just periodically, whenever you're ready, just stop and do the same thing. Yeah, right? There you go. Good. Good. There you go. So you kind of see why it's important to warm up, but then real world practice is where you're going to have those more distractions coming in, and it's really important that you stay true to the training as well. Very good. Perfect. Now when you start again, change direction. So feel free to walk straight as long as you'd like, but then when you stop and start again, just pick a different direction to go. You might need to pee or something too. We can give him a little bit of a break. Yeah, we can go ahead and keep walking. So just go ahead and start walking again, and just let that natural pressure of the leash gain. And this is what I mean. So just keep walking, and you'll notice, keep your arm nice and loose and just keep walking. You'll drive your feet, don't use your arms at all, and just keep walking. Yep. Just keep walking. In whatever direction you want to go, just keep walking, keep your arm loose. There you go. Good. There you go. Good. Now whenever you stop, make sure you change direction. So give him some time there. There you go. Good. Okay. Now when you start again, change the direction. Perfect. Perfect. Good. Yep. Just keep your arm nice and loose. There you go. Perfect. Yep. Yep. Just got distracted with the person there. Almost. You used your arm there to give the additional tug. Right? Good. Perfect. There you go. Good.
Does he have to look back at me, or?
He has to do, you'll want him to do two things. You'll want him to not just continue pulling forward, and you'll want him to focus on you, so that way you can give him praise or teach him to either slow down or change direction. Yeah, so you're just kind of using the patience there instead of additional pressure.
No, I know, I got crumbs everywhere because I made it small. Good. So when he stops like that, see if the leash is loose, because your arm should be loose, and then if it is loose and he stopped, go ahead and start teaching him, guiding him to the next spot. Because he stopped, he's not actually, yep. There you go. Very good. Perfect. Much better. Good. Good. And the way that this kind of transitions back into either like heel or closer leash work is you do the same thing, but now with a shorter leash, but you keep your arm loose. Yeah, this is the leash space I normally walk.
The same thing, if he starts pulling, there you go. And then when it's loose again, you start guiding him. There you go, good. So now, instead of everybody pulling to get to where they want, as soon as that tension happens, we want to try to release it, and we want to both focus on one another. Good, much better. Good. Go ahead and do a couple of the start and stops. Perfect. Yeah, there you go. Try to guide them in between the tones, taking some lefts and some rights. Right. Good. Keep the arm nice and loose. And if he's still walking with you, but off to the side is creating that tension,
you can do two things. If it's too sharp of a tension, you can either full stop or go another way for now. So that way it increases tension back on your side. But the main thing is we don't want him to still keep making progress when he's pulling. We only want to make progress when we're pulling because he's falling behind and he's not paying attention. Good boy. Perfect. There you go. Good. Perfect. Very good. So you kind of see you're gonna have to just at first take more time, you know, and more focused training effort on walks. You know, at least until it starts becoming more second nature, and it doesn't take long usually in neighborhoods. He's usually pretty good, but it's we'll definitely put this test here to the theory to the test here when we go back up to the market there. Do you have any questions, or did you want to practice any more before the real world exercise? All right. So the important thing to remember, as soon as you step out into a more distracting area or social zone like we were last time, really take the time to develop your own self-discipline, because you want to develop his discipline. And so when things happen, when he starts pulling, you know, think about the exercise. Good job. Think about what you're going to be working on for that walk. Sometimes I'll be doing multiple things at a time, but for like these sessions together, we want to try to just focus on one or two things at a time. Sometimes too, especially for his social sessions, we don't want to concentrate too much on the walking, but at the same time we don't want to lose any progress that we've made. So it's going to be a little bit of give and take, but we just don't want to put too much on our plate and on his plate when we're trying to learn something. Okay, so for this one, right, is going to be just trying to get you used to controlling his leash size, you know, getting it shorter and longer so he doesn't run into traffic or people, and still using it just as a boundary, so you're not trying to, you know, pull him back every time. So it's going to take some practice on your part being kind of preemptive, learning to kind of adjust the lead as you go along, and we'll do the positive markings with the good boy when we recognize, and the treats, but we're going to try to just stick with the leash pressure and not trying to call him back too. Okay. All right. So here, I'll go ahead and take the leash and I'll kind of show you there, right?
Oh.
I
don't want to have to pry some underwear out of his mouth.
Right. Okay. So that's what I mean by controlling the length of the leash, so that way you're preemptively avoiding him getting either in areas he's not supposed to, or having to pull him back from things, right? So if I didn't want him to run up and jump to you, I just shorten the leash for that. Okay.
And then you're just waiting for him to turn and come back to you?
Mm-hmm. Or I can just walk otherwise, but I just want him to practice that self-control when he's excited. And sometimes the easiest way of doing that, instead of, you know, trying to stifle it and trying to ask him to calm down or sit or look at you, is to just wait. The reason why I do that is because I want them to give up chasing that energetic, excited impulse and to calm down themselves. I don't want to always ask him to wait and calm down. I want him to recognize and do it on his own. And the only way that he can do it on his own is I give him the opportunity to do it on his own. Okay, so same thing here. If he's going to be going towards there, right? Just stopping that leash pressure. Hey, how's it going? Making it so he can't bridge that gap while I'm walking forward. Right? So, good boy. You can go ahead and give him a treat for that if he wants. Thank you. Because especially at first, we want to remind him that we appreciate all the good work that he does in redirecting before it even gets any busier. Right, so I keep the leash nice and loose, tight, walking. Yeah, I've got some, pretty much everything in there. Salmon, fish,
Yeah, these are salmon.
right? So even though the leash is long, I saw what he was going for there, and I just repositioned myself, good boy, so that way he can't get to it, right? So I can make the leash longer, I can make the leash shorter, just depends where I'm gonna go and what I'm gonna do. Good boy. Good boy. Yep. Now when I go out this way, very good. Like if we're going to be walking near the sidewalk here, and I don't want him to accidentally go in the middle of the road, you cut it short. Good boy. So same thing here with the door practice. Make it so once he kind of gets too close to the door that it gets tight. Right? Let him give up. Or change direction on him. Start walking this way. Pressure of the leash naturally increases until he gives up on his own and releases that tension. He controls the tension almost just as much as you do, and that's important for him because if he knows and learns that if he follows you that tension will stop and it's more comfortable, then he'll want to do that faster, is the thing, right? So impulse control there, stopping the length of the leash. Good boy. Yeah. So able to open the door but not go in. So I'm not trying to pull him back from getting to the door. I'm just making sure that I learn to adjust the leash length and my own distance so that he can't access it. Good boy. Same thing here, person. Okay, lots of distractions. Yes, good boy. Now the leash is nice and loose, so I'm going to start walking to help guide him. There you go. And then he does it himself. Now we're going to get closer to the door. And so what I'm going to do, see how I can gauge the length of the leash as well as with the door to walk by. Good catch. Okay. Good boy. Yes. So even though all I did was change the length of the leash, I still made it so you can't get there, right? And I don't have to do any additional tugging. And that's just going to take some practice, but mostly preemptive work. Like right here, I'm just walking backwards. I have the leash too long and the person's going to come out, it's going to be in the way. So all I do is walk backwards, and when I do that, it increases the tension on the leash, and if he wants to release the tension, he either has to come with or I have to go back forward into him. Good boy. Hi. So same thing there, right? Making it so he can greet people, but having just enough leash that if he tried to jump, he couldn't.
Right.
You know, same with interacting with people. He sees people, if he wants to touch them, he also can't, like the door, right? So making it so he has to almost check back in with us like we are when we're walking, and then after he checks back in, then we release him to meet the person or call him over to sit and have the person come to us. So a lot of preemptive work. Good boy. Good job, big guy. And we haven't gotten very far, but we've already done a lot of practicing. And that's something that you'll have to get used to as well, and why it'll be important. Like if you wanted to just go out on your walks or wanted to just go out shopping, gauge whether or not you want to. Oh, hi, sorry. Gauge whether or not you want to take him to practice with or leave him back at home. Because what will end up happening is if you get in a rush or frustrated and you start giving up, that's when his behaviors will just come back in. It's like as soon as we have only 10 minutes to get back to the car and now he's stopping, or now he's pulling, at least he's pulling in the right direction, right? So we just let it go. Good boy. Ready to give it a shot?
Sure.
We'll just stay right here first and we'll do the door and stuff.
Just the door and stuff, so I don't need to really...
Yeah, no, you can walk back and forth, but just get used to how far away you are going to have to be from things, right? So that way you're not having to tug him back. And then when you do need him to come, just start walking. There you go. So instead of concentrating on telling him where not to go and what not to do, we concentrate on creating boundaries with the leash and showing him where to go by going. Very good. And then when it's nice and loose, very good. Good, there you go. And it's something that once you get used to, it'll make the whole process a lot easier of walking, because now you're concentrating on guiding him and not concentrating so much on what he's doing wrong. The leash should automatically do that for you. Yep. Very good. Yep. There you go. Good. There you go. Good. Starts going too fast. Okay. There you go. Perfect. So remember, your goal is to try to keep that leash nice and loose until you actually need it.
So that wasn't worth it?
He also might be distracted out here. Very good, much better. So already starting to become less impulsive on that door and more responsive to you and the leash. So let's go ahead and keep going on the normal walk. And do your best to keep the leash nice and loose. And so you can change direction, you can start and stop. And then when he's following, make sure you got the leash nice and loose again. There you go. Right? So he gets excited, wants to start following his nose.
Good boy.
Go ahead and do like a figure 8 around these poles here. Good. So there's a little bit of extra hang time. I'll kind of show you how you can help to shorten that up. And like I said, he's going to be very, very excited with everything going on in the new place. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. I know. She's coming. Don't worry. Right. Right. Good boy. Good boy. You kind of see how the leash is more loose now more often, and it's just because I'm pulling him. I'm not stopping when he's stopping.
Oh.
I'm focusing on guiding him, so that's all I'm doing is I'm just walking. I'm letting the leash do the work when it gets tight and when it gets loose. Because if you end up stopping, then that tension adds up longer, right? So right there, right? I'm not pulling him. He's just ran out of leash when he's supposed to be following. Right? Good boy.
Good boy, buddy.
And then the same idea, even when we're at like your normal-ish kind of length here. Right? Give him a second there. Okay. I'll do another set around here. Tight again. Tight again. And loose. Good boy. There you go. So that's what the next lesson for you is going to be, is directional leash pressure. Left, right, forward, back. Yeah, getting him used to that, and then stop leash pressure.
Good boy, buddy.
Really concentrate on having those goals in mind of where you want to go and what you want to do. There you go. And then that secondary goal of keeping that leash nice and loose. There you go. There you go. Now it should be loose since it's following you. So you kind of see there that awkward pause in recovery.
But I feel like I'm having to pull him. Like I can feel when I do that and he digs in like that, it does feel like more of a pull to me, like I'm pulling him. Is that okay? I mean, I'm not doing this like an extra, but I definitely feel like I'm dragging him.
Yep, because he's not paying attention to you, and the leash is giving up all the extra length that is allowed. So his goal on that time is to keep up with you and refocus. So that's why it's important that you keep going.
Okay.
Because if you just kind of hang there, then he's allowed to hang there and continue that pulling. We want that movement and that tension to be as short as possible. That's why when he's walking with you like he is now, to have it nice and loose, right? So keep the leash nice and loose whenever you don't need it. Perfect. Even if it's this close, you could still have no tension on it. That's something that you'll probably just have to get used to practicing yourself, is, you know, keeping it nice and loose.
Oh no!
Good, there you go. And then loose again.
Bye-bye.
There you go. And then when he has to catch up to you, he keeps getting distracted. There you go. Now he's catching up to you. And now it's loose again. Good. And then go ahead and stop. And there you go. And then he stops. Go ahead and try to do a start and stop exercise with all the distractions.
I don't know my left side.
That's fine. Very good. Good. See? Very good. There you go. Very good. Good. So you got to see that jerk movement because he ran out of leash. You had stopped. He kept going. And then as soon as he felt it, he turned around. Right? There you go. Yep. And it's always going to be harder with more distractions. Good.
Good boy, buddy.
So try to go ahead and get all the way down to the mattress firm when he's only walking on a loose leash. There you go. Good. Perfect. Good. There you go. Right. Good. Very good. There you go. Nice and loose. Perfect. Good. Nice and loose. Perfect. Right, there you go.
Good boy.
Good. And now for this next exercise, so it looks like he ends up kind of drifting and pulling you a little bit before you're able to recover. And so we really want to try to get that as firm as possible. So try your best to just stay on this line here and let the leash do all the work. So you just walk to go around here. See there? It like rebounded a little bit. There. Okay. And that might just be body weight. It might just be because I'm also used to kind of putting more weight on where I'm walking, right? But he's not as easily to pull me to the side or left or right or straight as he is with you, because what ends up happening is as soon as he kind of gets a little bit of that buffer in, he gets traction and just starts going that way. Whereas here, he gets less of that traction and almost has to spring back in this way. You can kind of see. So one more time, I'll just, hi, how you doing? Good boy. Okay. Having the tension nice and loose, making sure he's holding himself. Just trying to go after that. Holding tension. Good. This way. It's kind of hard to show you. You might have to see on the replay, but you're like whenever he kind of gets sidetracked, he starts going and it pulls you off of your track. Hi, sorry. Good boy. Right, so like right there. Leash is nice and loose. He goes off track a little bit. Right? Now he's going too fast, so I slow down, and it kind of pulls him back more. Okay. Yes, good boy.
Good boy, buddy.
All right. Go ahead and try that exercise. Just try walking on one of those lines straight. You can either do the poles one or you can do back that way.
Good boy.
So just relax your arm and just concentrate on walking. Adding weight to where you're gonna go. There you go. And then your arm will automatically, there it is. That's it. So that way your arm will give you some give, but then your feet will help kind of pull him back in. Just, there you go. Just like that. You just keep your arm nice and loose. Let your feet and the leash do all the work. Yep. If he starts pulling off to the side, your arm should naturally lift up. That's fine. It'll naturally come back down as soon as he recovers. Right? Yep. So that's part of what I mean by that momentum shift, because you kind of got stuck there because he went that way and you stopped. You lost all of your inertia. So go ahead and keep trying to walk forward again. So same thing here, just keep walking forward. There you go, much better. See, so he checked back in with you and got naturally pulled away from that person that distracted him because you were going forward. If you stop because he stopped, he has nobody guiding him on where to go anymore.
So when he's pulling like this to go too fast.
Yeah, I would either have him stop to slow down, we would use a verbal cue, or I would give him some lead just to take it back to kind of prompt that. There's a couple different things that you can do. The start and stop exercise is really good. Part of it too is because we're going downhill, and part of it is just because he's excited for the next thing. Probably all these, all this sense here. There you go. Perfect, there you go. Good, you see how, because you didn't hesitate there, he recovered faster. Because I think that's what's happening here is when you take more time because he's taking more time too, it's harder for you to recover and it's harder for him to recover. Perfect. There you go, now nice and loose again. Yep. Very good. Perfect. Good, good recovery, there you go. And that's what I mean, if he starts leaning too heavily towards the way that you're not going, it almost makes it so you have to put in just a little bit more effort to keep, there you go, to keep going where you want to go. That's that positive leash pressure. We don't use it that often.
Why?
Because there'll be more times when he'll be close to you and you can use more verbal commands too. But we're just practicing this so you can kind of get a feel for it and get used to it, right? So I'll show you what I do when we go downhill here and he starts going too fast. Okay. Whoop. Too late.
Don't smoke, buddy. I told you.
Oh, it was like a crouton.
Oh.
We're
Only
okay.
a cigarette butts make it sound funny.
And that's why, like I said, it's really important to try to pay attention so you don't have to jerk or pull back because it was too late to do any movement. But if we had the leash already set, you know, at a shorter space, then he wouldn't have got to it. And that's just going to take practice, and things are always going to be, you know, around a corner sometimes, especially when you're downtown working. There's chicken wings or vomit, unfortunately, pizza crust, things like that everywhere. So you'll end up being more mindful.
So So I only have about 5 or so minutes before I have to kind of be heading back. So I'm not sure what traffic will be on 95 and 66.
No problem. We'll start working on the way back then. Good boy. It's gonna be a little bit harder because now we're going uphill again, and now he probably won't want to pull as much unless he gets excited.
How long of a session are you normally working? Like, is it good? Like when I take him home, what's a good time?
Just whenever you have time to dedicate to him, you know. Anywhere, the sessions will range anywhere from like half an hour to an hour. Hi, how you doing? If you have more time to take him for a nice walk when it's nice out, on a bike trail or along the, hi, how you doing? Or along the shopping center here, you can. Okay. So that was one of those times that saw coming, just ate up a little bit of leash and it was enough. Yeah, she was still unsure and ruled away, but it wasn't anything, you know, scary. That's part of the reason why you want him, instead of always going up to people that he's interested in, to stop and check in with you. Good. She started going too fast. Oh, bless you. I think with practice too, we end up making certain movements like exaggerated, right? Like I just stopped because he was starting to go too fast. Same thing here. Good boy. A little bit of a turn back to me. And you kind of see how he's almost not allowed to continue that momentum almost at all, you know? Because I see that he's speeding up. I'm already getting ready to let the leash do the correction for him. And then, you know, afterwards, I just let him know he did the right thing and good slow down or come back to me, all that good stuff. Hi, how you doing? Good boy, much better. There you go. So that was really good. He got distracted again by the car, but see, he saw her check back in with us. And it would be at that moment, if we were actually practicing, have him come and sit, you know, instead of continue walking, because then he got distracted by something else. And now we're going downhill a little bit again. And I'll let you practice hopefully one more time. But just pay attention to his, there you go, momentum. And if you need to, good boy, you can make those adjustments accordingly. Try to round this corner here. Got a little bit of time left, and it should be downhill. So he might pick up the speed a little bit faster. He might try to get to all that trash there. It should be pretty quiet though. So there you go. So good. There you go. Good. Now you slow down, and that's when you let him have the shot. There you go. So he popped again. He's got some food over there. Things of interest. Right? So try to avoid that. He says kind of pulling you to where you want to go. There you go. So now after he's kind of reset, okay. Okay. And I'll try to show you one more time so that way you'll get to kind of see in the video too. And we'll practice more next time when you have some more time. So I know he's gonna probably get excited for any of this food. Right there. Right? That's when the tension starts. Yes, good boy. Not doing it the same. He was super excited there. Maybe over here. So loose, no, tight. Good boy, this way. Now it's that verbal, right? Good boy. No, he wasn't as excited as he was with you the first time. It's okay. Some more chips. Good boy. Could leave it. Do you have any questions before you get going? He needs it on both sides as well. This is just the beginning for him and Liz. Where you hold on to that. Add in some verbals, and that'll make the walk a little less awkward, and we'll add in verbals, and we'll add in more practice for him so he'll get more comfortable, and it'll also be good for you. What we'll try to do is find a good medium for you, because most people are used to using their arms, you know, to like pull and guide the pup. We'll find a good medium for you on how to kind of micro jerk it, stuff like that for that input. But we'll just keep. I'll wait for the truck. Okay. Good. There you go. And release any tension on the lead. There you go. There you go. Perfect. There you go. Now release. Good. There you go. So you just do that same thing, but when he's going forward too. Yeah, it's. We'll go over it more. But yeah, thanks for joining us for this session.
Hey, buddy.
I'll let you say goodbye. No. Oh. It I think the pouncing position is probably scaring her.
We are just in a mood.
Rizzo, come here, bud. Oh. He's skittish. Rizzo? Here. Let's just say hi, so then that way you can stop scaring her. There you go.
It's okay, Leo.
Go.
Good boy. Good boy. Do you have multiple dogs or do you train?
I train.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rizzo, you're so awkward, bud. There you go. Go towards the butt. There we go.
So it's fine.
There you go. It's okay. I know, he does that weird stalking thing. The pup, my actual pup Harmony does that too. Oh, are they allergic to anything? There you go.
Good boy, Leo.
He's like, I don't like it. Oh, there you go.
I just wasn't sure at first. Good boy, Leo.
There you go.
So nice.
Good job, Rizzo. Come here.
Come on, Leo.
Rizzo, you're so awkward. Come here, bud. Good boy. There you go. Good job. Aww.
Nice boys. So nice.
He's very playful once he like gets comfortable with the pup. Until then, he's like all stiff and not sure. He's very friendly.
Leo's very friendly too. He definitely gets very nervous.
Oh, they're like two peas in a pod.
When I first got him, he was just like cowering in the corner. I had to pick him up and carry him off the deck to go to the bathroom.
Aww.
Then he got a little bit.
Still definitely scares you, huh?
Yeah.
So does.
So,
Yeah.
like this house, the dogs that bark out the window, it's like he anticipates that we're going to walk past it and get scared before we even get to the house.
Aww.
I'm like, we walk past it every day, bud. You're fine every day.
Aww.
All right, Leo, we got to go, bud.
You're okay.
We gotta go. I know. Very quickly. I get it. We gotta go now. We have
They
to
can't
go.
play,
Say
bud.
bye-bye.
They can't play, big guy. Have a good one. See ya. Come on, let's let him go first, and we'll go keep going. See if we can run into any pups.
Yo, come on.
Oh, sorry. Come on, bud. This way. You mean well, but you scare him, man. Come on, we'll get some water. Good boy.